Alright guys, today we're going to go over, I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart right now, but we're going to go over why Solana may have bottomed and potentially why the other altcoins may have bottomed as well. And I'll be using a few references. One, this part of the Bitcoin chart, I will be using the USDT dominance, and I'll use the Bitcoin dominance chart as well, just to give us some clarity on the potential of why this may be the bottom. So I'm going to drag this price action out, and you can see it sort of mirrors what's going on in the market currently. If only I had my channel drawn here, but there is a midline going across this chart, and it served as resistance for the Bitcoin price at its current point. But in terms of where we are at a resistance level where we're probably going to expect either chop, maybe another push up, and sideways and upwards action. Maybe there's a breakdown. However, for the time being, there's a lot of room where alts can start to expand, because during this push up for Bitcoin, a lot of altcoins did, well, most altcoins did fall behind except for memes, and it has given the market more liquidity and confidence in bidding up coins such as Solana, FTM. I have some active trades here, as you can see, but let's go to the Solana charts at the moment and see what we can see. So from that reference point that I mentioned at the start of this video, we can identify that there are similar patterns, and I've mentioned this previously as well, whereby we have sort of a shelf that comes up here. I know that this is very average TA drawing work. Actually, how about I do this instead? I am going to put on my indicator. Perfect. I'll use the 10 minute. Actually the 8 minutes, because I mentioned that in my video yesterday. And I will do a replay here. And I will also use the 8 minutes. And I'll activate my indicator. Disable that. Beautiful. All right. Now that we have a clearer picture, that was wrongly drawn, that's supposed to be there, we can see that this rally is at a similar point to where Bitcoin was in either here or over here. Well, we can actually measure that from this high, well, this first peak here to here, around 3.5 days. I think 3.5 days is somewhere in here, actually. Nope, 3.5 days is out here. So 3.5 days is out here for this rally here. We're using the reference points because it's going to tell us where we are potentially and where I think we are. I think we're around here. We actually came down and hit the 8 minute indicator, as I mentioned in my previous video. And for the Solana chart in the original reference in October 24th, which is around this line here, you can see at the top, this is the current Bitcoin chart at the bottom right and the current Solana chart at the top here. And I've put in some drawings just so you can see the reference of price action. Something else that you'll notice on Solana is that in the 8 minute charts, it gives a lot of areas for us to bid. I think 10 minute may be working better at the moment, but this chart sort of has the same type of structure and the same bidding areas. Actually, the bidding areas in this time frame was a lot better, where it actually allowed bottom bids every single time on the way up. And this has been a little bit more messy, but the structure nevertheless is very, very, very similar. And at the moment, I do believe that we have reached this point in the chart where the red line is, right? I'll put a red line on the chart here and a red line on the chart at the bottom here. Perfect. I know it looks a little bit different, but now we kind of get a picture on where and how Bitcoin will start to look once the altcoins should be running. And Bitcoin at the moment, it could come back down for another low during the week, but as you can see in the Solana price action, it doesn't necessarily mean that it goes down further. I think this structure is a chop on the way upwards. Hopefully this plays out. Let's turn the timer on a bit higher. Cool. And pause it. So pretty much once Bitcoin starts its next leg to the upside, that's when we're expecting the price action to for Solana to go quite parabolic, right? And from where this is on the days or time-wise, it's 6 days from where this first high comes in. So we can expect potentially I need to bring the actual time up. Apologies for this messy video. Around 6 days, right? Maybe out here is when Bitcoin makes its next rally up and it continues to range during the week, or it could happen before that. I'm not married to the actual premise that we need to exactly match this fractal because it never ends up working that way. So November 18th, right? We might see some ranging action before the push up and potentially a push kind of down back here and then upwards, sort of like this. Fractals do end up breaking at a certain point, but at the moment it's a play by play where, or it's going beat by beat with how the market distributed to alts originally after a rally. So something to be mindful of. Cool. Now let's go to the Bitcoin dominance chart and have a look at where we are on Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is at a very key level, and this is a level that it does respect. Despite us using, this method to find, midpoints in rallies, it also works on the Bitcoin dominance as well. If you can see here, around that range is where we expect, I think this is on the wrong setting. Around the 0618 region is where we expect a rollover and distribution back to alt. So everything looks very well timed for an alt distribution to occur. So from Bitcoin to altcoins, right? I'll look at FTM now and just to see how the price structure has been playing out and how this all aligns with its Bitcoin chart and why I took a long on FTM at the low, not the biggest long, but I think FTM has a really strong price potential and getting to perhaps the $7 region, way up high. And I can show you how I've calculated that as well. But FTM itself, following our principle, swing high and the swing low of the range, printed a very, very clean 1618. If I speak to you on a personal level, I've mentioned this trade to you. And it has created a falling or descending wedge pattern as well, or descending triangle, since it's almost linked up, right? Descending triangle into a 1618. Not only that, so that's point 2 points. 1618, descending triangle, 2 points of confluence so far. FTM BTC. Oh, sorry. My thoughts are very scattered right now. There's also a signal on the 1 hour indicator. So that's 3 points of confluence. And also at this level, on the 15-minute indicator, there is a signal there as well. So there's a strong basis there for an entry with very high ROI, or sorry, risk reward, because you're not risking very much in terms of your downside risk. It's like a 1% down, and upside potential is 1,000% essentially. So this is something that I'm planning to hold for the long run, because I think that there is a bottom forming right there. I could be wrong, but I'm not risking very much at all, am I? Let's go to the FTM BTC chart. And the FTM BTC chart at that time was literally at the bottom of this golden pocket. So what's that? 5 points of confluence on why that's a good trade. So when you add these things all together, it gives you a bit more conviction on the trade, and an understanding that, you know, there's a high probability that that is a good setup to take, or that that's a setup that you should take, because if that presents itself multiple times over, and you know there's a strong basis there, like points of confluence work super well because other traders see at least 1 or 2 or 3 of those things and also take that trade. So there's more buy pressure, or if it's a short trade, more sell pressure. Let me have a look if I've missed anything. And also BTC has reached the 8-minute indicator, as mentioned in previous video, where I suspected some sort of low would occur as well. So there's 6 points of confluence there. 1618 on the FTM USDT chart, the falling wedge, the 15-minute signal, the 1 hour signal, the BTC key level mentioned, and the FTM BTC chart at the GP. Very, very strong level to be longing. Cool. I think that's about it for the time being. Covered Solana, covered BTC a little bit, covered a bit of FTM as well. So hopefully that was helpful, guys, and yeah, stick around for the next one.